Okay, let's talk about buying your first home. It's probably one of the biggest, most exciting, and, let's be honest, most nerve-wracking decisions you're ever going to make. It's a huge milestone for sure, but getting those keys in your hand can feel, well, pretty complicated.
So is this you? Are you thinking about it? Maybe you're already spending those late nights scrolling through listings, just dreaming. You are definitely not alone. It's a huge goal for so many of us. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what you can expect on that journey in 2025. All right, first things first, we got to understand the landscape. I mean, the 2025 housing market, it's got its own unique personality, its own set of rules. Think of it less like a bunch of roadblocks and more like the terrain you just have to learn how to navigate.
So what's the market really like right now? Well, it's kind of a mix. The good news is that the completely bonkers seller's market we saw a few years ago, it's cooled down. You'll actually have more places to choose from, and prices aren't shooting through the roof. But here's the reality check. It's still a tough market. Homes are still expensive, and for the really good ones, you're definitely going to have some competition.
But, and this is a really big but, don't let those challenges scare you off. There are some fantastic programs out there designed specifically to give first-time buyers a leg up. So let's talk about how you can build your game plan around those.
So how do you actually pull this off? The whole home buying process can look like this giant, confusing maze from the outside. But once you break it down, it's really just a series of clear, totally manageable steps. Let's walk that path together.
Your journey to getting those keys really boils down to 4 big milestones. It all kicks off with Step 1, prepping your finances. This is your foundation, getting real about what you can afford. Step 2 is getting pre-approved for a loan. This is your golden ticket. It's what makes sellers take you seriously. Then you get to the fun part. Step 3, house hunting and making an offer. And finally, Step 4 brings it all home, literally, with the inspection and closing day. That's the moment it all becomes real.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the how. But now we get to maybe the most important question of all. Why? Or maybe more to the point, is this actually right for me? This is where the whole thing gets deeply personal.
When you're weighing this decision, think of it like a personal balance sheet. On the pro side, you're building your own wealth with every single payment. That's equity. You get stability, you get to paint the walls whatever color you want, and you get that incredible pride of ownership. But the con side is just as real. You've got some high upfront costs, you're on the hook for all the maintenance, and you can't just pack up and move on a whim.
Now, I want to zoom in on one of the biggest items on that pro list, because honestly, it's a game changer that a lot of people don't even know about. We're talking about special financing options that are only available to first-time buyers. This can help you tackle one of the biggest hurdles head-on. 3%? What's that? It's just a number. But it's a number that can make owning a home suddenly feel a lot more possible. And it has everything to do with the single biggest barrier for most aspiring homeowners, the down payment. You can forget that old myth that you need to save up 20%. It's just not true anymore for a lot of people. That 3% you just saw, that's the minimum for some conventional loans. Then you've got FHA loans at 3.5%, and for our qualified vets, VA loans can be 0% down. Seriously, this changes everything.
But hold on, before you get too carried away with a low down payment, here's a crucial piece of advice. The down payment is not the only big check you're going to write. You absolutely have to budget for another 3 to 5% of the home's price just for closing costs and other random expenses. Don't forget that part.
So we've looked at the market, we've walked through the process, we've weighed the pros and cons. Now it's time to turn that spotlight inward. This is the final check-in, the moment to ask yourself, are you truly ready for this?
And you gotta be honest with yourself here. Is your income stable? Lenders are gonna wanna see that. Have you saved for the down payment and an emergency fund? Because, a surprise roof leak doesn't really care about your budget. Are you planning to stay in one place for at least, say, 3 to 5 years? That's usually how long it takes to break even. And finally, can you really, truly handle all the monthly costs? Not just the mortgage, but the taxes, insurance, and all the stuff that will inevitably break.
Hey, if you found yourself nodding yes to most of those questions, that's awesome. You might just be ready to get this thing started. So before you run off, let's just arm you with 3 final pieces of wisdom to take with you on the journey. Okay, if you only remember 3 things from all of this, make it these. Number 1, and this is the big one,
Do not max out your budget. Just because a bank says you can borrow a certain amount doesn't mean you should. Leave yourself some breathing room. 2, if it isn't in writing, it didn't happen. Seriously, get everything in writing. And 3, remember this is a long-term decision. Try not to get swept up in the emotion of it all and make a choice you'll regret. Play the long game.
Look, buying your first home is a massive, life-changing thing. It's a challenge, absolutely. But for a lot of people, it ends up being one of the best and most rewarding investments they ever make. The trick is to go in with your eyes wide open, totally prepared. So the only question left to answer is the one right there on your screen. Is this your next chapter?